I will now hand over to our next speaker, Dr. Isabelle, and I'll hand over to you.
Yes, hello, thank you. So I want to talk today about a topic that's somewhere in between where Barbara left off, so the massive rise of risks for us women after menopause, and a little bit where Hilla started, the universe of confusing and abundant biomarkers. And basically, I'm the founder of Uplife IO, which is a health tech company in Switzerland, and meanwhile rolled out in several countries of Europe. And our main mandate is to enable women to get into the driver's seat of their own health journey. So it has a lot to do with fitting into our daily routines. Normally, women don't prioritize their own health journey as much as other kids or men do. And basically, how can we do that? And I want to present you our approach that we took on that. First, let me take one step back. Why are non-communicable diseases? So exactly that, what corona is not. So not diseases that spread over the air, but the diseases that are rooted in our lifestyles, our genes, microbiome. What is that and how big is it? If you look at the European numbers, it's enormous. It's 1.2 trillion each, just in Europe, each year that we are spending on, to a big part, avoidable diseases. And if you put it into relation with our economic value that we create, it's 3.3% of our European GDP. That's a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot, 3.3, it's minor. I give you a comparison. We gain by digitization, which is definitely a huge topic. No one would disagree there, I guess. With digitization, we gain 2.2% GDP growth every year. And we waste and sadly risk people falling in of NCDs at a large and growing rate of 3.3%. So we should do something about it. So let me show you how we approached it and how we collaborated and created patient-centric programs out of it. So Uplife is an intensive lifestyle intervention program, which helps you personalize your health interventions to maximize the benefit out of it, because there's a lot to be done, right? We know that we should eat healthier, exercise more, nada. Yeah. Normally on 1st of January, we still stick to it, and then it gets super, super complicated because behavior is involved. So we tried to break some of the routines and make it easier to get into these routines. Let me start with nutrition. So normally, like everything, it starts with a great plan and then it hits your life. So we start with personalized meal plans that are adapted to your needs and that factor in over 700 single variables. We will see later what it's factor in. We prepare shopping list for our users, and we use, whenever life is getting into the way of your meal planning and meal prepping routines, we prepare a smart AI-driven personal traffic light. So our users can scan what they are eating and they get a very personalized feedback how well that contributes to their health goal. And you see how it looks on the screen. It's basically a small monitor up here that gives you an overview over your calorie intake. We've heard it already. Yeah, I mean, need to say that maybe menopause is one of the biggest driver of our programs, because women in this phase of their lives, they get really aware that something in their body changes, and they are medically right, because we've seen in Barbara's statistics that this is the fact. So a typical woman in menopause starts controlling her calorie intake. She starts tracking symptoms, and she gets health literacy provided based on her symptom patterns in the app. So that's the nutrition part. And let me show you, whoops, now I was too fast. And this is the intelligent traffic light. So basically I can scan whatever I want. Nothing is forbidden, but the app helps me afterwards to balance out a large pizza feast with red wine with my family the day after. So it tells me how much I could compensate the next day with a longer workout, or it tells me, or it cuts my calories the next day. So balancing out is a big topic. And then the next thing, what we observed in this stage of life, that we all, or most who are interested, wear trackers, and living with a semi-full circle gets actually, we get used to it. So what we see that most users in our program stagnate at a certain level. They always do the same things and they are stuck at a certain level of activity. So we help them with intelligent propositions, what else they could do. And our goal here is basically getting the routines wider. So if you're always into cardio, we help them to integrate more strength, or also exercise that increase mindfulness. And then we get to the biomarkers. Biomarkers is a huge topic, but it's also very, very confusing. And not all biomarkers are as meaningful to each group as to another. So basically, what we came up is an AI solution that interprets biomarkers for the users. So first of all, we came up with an aggregate that just tells me how am I on track to achieve a health goal, or is it positive? Is it a positive development that I eat healthier, that I exercise more, that I track the right biomarkers, and are these biomarkers good enough? So we need a simple view of that to monitor our own health. And then secondly, we implemented, for the more complex biomarker, we implemented AI algorithms that give you an indication if it's good or bad, because basically I track this data, and in the end, what I want to know if it's a good thing. And all these numbers are most confusing to most users. We realized in surveys that most users don't really understand what a heart rate variability is, what a resting heart pulse is, and how we should measure it, etc. Good. So that's the third thing. But what happens if my biomarkers don't look good? Then we create with our partners health ecosystems around people with menopause, for example, and we help them getting to the ground of it. For example, if you realize that symptomatic patterns indicate that this might be a beginning or a pre-diabetes, we offer these partners home lab tests to see what their long-term glucose levels are. And secondly, we work with European telemedicine providers in each countries, that users who have really worrisome symptoms, that they can go reach out and have a discussion with a general practitioner on the phone at first. Who pays for these offers? It's the health insurers who do that without, I mean, the transaction happens directly via our platform, and they are covered in the European insurance schemes. So that is very quick. I know it was a long marathon. That is very quick, our approach on breaking this entity wave that we are seeing, and especially addressing women who are the most users of our program. As you can see, we have many program entries in the preventive space. In the FemTech space, we have 2 focusing on female fertility and menopause. And then we also have programs in the chronic space. And the handover between these programs is fluent, because as you can imagine, you can be in menopause, have a diabetes, and having nutritional allergies at the same time. So the program can cover that, but it's very helpful for users to start with a clear focus where they want to see results. Good. And guess what? It works. simple routines in a good enough doses, administered daily, has a massive impact. After 3 months in our data, we see that 85% of the users lost weight, that 3 out of 4 reduced sedentary lifestyle or more active. And we can also see that blood pressure and blood glucose had been lowered significantly during the program. So maybe as a wrap up, yeah, that's the end. As a wrap up, we deliver highly individualized programs that focus on the reduction and the treatment of onsetting NCDs. And especially women in the phase of menopause appreciate that we create focus around meaningful interventions that they can do on their own, and then connecting them with the health ecosystem around the topic of menopause to interact with specialists when it makes sense. Good.
Awesome, thank you so much. And I think it's great to kind of look at a women's like holistic health, and I'm sure that will come up in our discussions as well. So thank you.